You hear about it everywhere, right? The unbelievable, world-changing power of AI. But for most businesses, that incredible promise feels a million miles away from their day-to-day reality. That gap, that disconnect, well, that's the AI value paradox. And we're about to figure out what's really going on.
I mean, just look at the numbers. The promise is absolutely staggering. Economists are projecting that AI could crank up the annual global GDP by a massive 7%. We're talking trillions of dollars in new value, all driven by these new tools. The potential is just undeniable.
And it's not just about money. The scale of this transformation on a human level is just as huge. Globally, it's estimated that 300 million full-time jobs could be directly impacted by AI automation. This isn't some small incremental shift. No, this is a fundamental rewiring of how we work.
Okay, but here's the massive reality check. According to Gartner, a truly shocking 2% of AI projects, just 2%, actually deliver a transformational impact. Let that sink in for a second. For every 50 projects launched with all this hope and investment, only one actually changes the game.
So you've got this world-changing potential on one side, and on the other, just widespread failure and disappointment. It just doesn't add up. This is the AI value paradox in a nutshell. What on earth is wrong with this picture? Well, that's exactly what we're here to break down.
So here's the thing. The problem isn't the technology. The AI is ready, it's powerful, it works. The real issue is that we're fighting an unbalanced revolution. It's like one side is sprinting ahead in a race, while the other side is still lacing up its shoes at the starting block.
And this chart tells you exactly where that revolution is happening. The highest potential for automation isn't in factories or on construction sites. Look at this. Office and admin support is at 46%. Legal is at 44%. Now compare that to, say, construction at just 6%. It's a huge difference.
And that leads to this crucial point. This disruption is not happening on the factory floor. It's happening in the corporate office. AI is coming for tasks like writing reports, scheduling meetings, analyzing financials. This is first and foremost a white-collar transformation.
This really illustrates that imbalance perfectly. On one side of the scale, you have AI readiness. The models, the data, all the powerful tools. That side is just surging ahead. But on the other side, you have human readiness, the skills, the trust, the processes needed to actually use the tech. And that side, it's lagging way, way behind.
And this isn't just a vague feeling. We have the data to prove it. A massive 87% of employees are curious. They're interested in using AI tools to do their jobs better. But only 32% of them actually trust their own leadership to manage that transition well. That is a giant trust deficit, and frankly, it's where most AI projects go to die.
So how do you even begin to figure out where your organization stands in the middle of all this chaos? Well, thankfully, Gartner's created a really simple but powerful tool for that. You can think of it as your own personal "you are here" map for this whole AI journey.
Okay, let's take a look at the map. It's simple. You've got two axes, AI readiness going across and human readiness going up. This creates 4 quadrants. Now, the big question, where are most companies right now? Right there, in that incredibly frustrating spot where the AI is ready, but the humans are not. The tech works, but it can't scale because the people, the processes, and the trust just aren't in place yet.
So the objective, the mission, couldn't be clearer. The goal for every single organization out there is to move from wherever you are right now into that top right quadrant. That's the sweet spot, the golden path, where both the AI and the humans are ready to create some serious value together.
All right, so we've diagnosed the problem, and we know exactly where we need to go. But how? How do we actually get there? Well, this is what's called the CIO's golden path. It's an actionable playbook for closing that readiness gap.
The whole framework breaks down into 4 really clear stages. First, you discover potential use cases. Then, you de-risk them. This is huge, by building accuracy and trust. Next, you deploy them, but narrowly and reliably. And finally, you diffuse those learnings across the whole organization to really compound the value. It's a structured, methodical way forward.
Now, a huge piece of this human readiness puzzle is about cultivating a whole new kind of talent. Gartner calls them M-shaped workers, but I love this description, the Swiss Army knife employee. These aren't AI experts, they're not coders. They're people with enough tech literacy, curiosity, and good judgment to figure out how and when to apply AI to solve real business problems.
And look, you can't build trust if the tools aren't reliable. It's that simple. That's where this accuracy survival kit comes in. This is all about treating AI accuracy like you'd treat system uptime. It's absolutely non-negotiable. You define what good enough looks like, you use multiple checks, you build tests, and you make someone accountable for it. This is how you de-risk AI and actually earn your team's trust.
So when you put it all together, the path forward starts to look a lot clearer. It's not about choosing technology over people or people over technology. It's about restoring the balance between the two.
There's this quote from Gartner that just captures the whole idea perfectly. It says, "Greatness lies in the golden middle, where AI capability and human capability rise together." That's it right there. True, lasting value only happens when you advance both sides at the same time, in lockstep.
So if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Getting AI right is a socio-technical challenge. That's a fancy way of saying it's about people, process, and culture, just as much as it's about algorithms and data. If you ignore the human side of the equation, you are pretty much destined to become another statistic.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. Looking back at this framework, at that map, think about your own team, your own company. Be really honest with yourself. On the readiness map, where are you?